Lesson number 20. Is Jesus impressed with me? You might think there's no way that Jesus would be impressed with me. Well, you might be surprised. It's interesting that this story comes from Luke chapter 7. Luke is the only Gentile author of the entire Bible. So he knew what it meant to be an outsider that was included as an insider. So he's going to tell us a story about a classic outsider who is included as an insider. This man was a centurion. As the name indicates, he is a leader over 100 men. He's part of the military machine of the Romans. And centurions were the highest official of enlisted men. If you weren't from a noble family, you're not going to be an officer up the ranks. So these centurions knew, they rose through the ranks, so they knew how the common soldier felt, but they also were good at communicating up the leadership ladder. And so these centurions were the backbone of the Roman army. Now, as part of an invading, occupying force in Israel, you would expect for them to be despised. And actually, most of them probably were. But in the Bible, every centurion we meet is painted in a positive light. So, for example, Matthew 27, we see a centurion at the cross who says, this was a son of a god. Well, it's not quite a Jewish declaration of Messiah, but it's pretty darn close for a Roman. In Acts chapter 10, the first Gentile convert, centurion. Acts chapter 22, yet another centurion saves the Apostle Paul from being flogged. 27 of the book of Acts. You have the centurion escorting Paul to Rome and treating him with incredible respect. So watch what happens after this centurion requests for Jesus to come heal his servant. When the centurion heard about Jesus, he sent to him elders of the Jews, asking him to come and heal his servant. And when they came to Jesus, they pleaded with him earnestly, saying, he is worthy to have you do this for him, for he loves our nation, and he is the one who built us our synagogue. Centurions had 100 men at their disposal. Most of the soldiers' life was downtime. So they used the soldiers for building projects. A lot of the Roman roads, that many of which still stand today, were built by Roman soldiers. And when they would enter an area, particularly in Israel, they knew that the locals would be hostile to them. So they looked for ways of doing favors that would garner them favor and keep them safer in the cities where they were. So Capernaum is this major city. Well, it's a village, but it's on the north shore of Galilee, big for the day. And if you go there, you can see a 5th century synagogue. But if you look at the foundation of the synagogue, you see a black basalt foundation that was actually part of the previous synagogue, likely the one in Jesus' day. You could be looking at stones laid by this very man spoken of in the Bible. So, in John chapter 4, verse 46, we hear a different story of another son in Capernaum who is healed. But his father wasn't in Capernaum. He was a nobleman who had gone to Cana to do business. There he met Jesus, asked Jesus to come down to Capernaum, and Jesus said, no, I'll just declare it and your son will be healed. And so it was. If this man is a nobleman, he is likely in contact with the centurion who is the highest leader of the Roman forces in the area. If, as I imagine happened, the nobleman came and told his friend, or at least his colleague, about this amazing miracle of his son, when the centurion's own servant falls ill, and he's a love servant, like an adopted child, he probably thought back, oh, I remember there's a Jesus guy who can heal at a distance. Verse 6. And Jesus went with them. When he was not far from the house, the centurion sent friends saying to him, Lord, do not trouble yourself, for I am not worthy to have you come under my roof. Therefore, I did not presume to come to you, but say the word, and let my servant be healed. For I too am a man under authority, with soldiers under me. And I say to one, go, and he goes, and to another, come, and he comes, and to my servant, do this, and he does it. When Jesus heard these things, he marveled at him, and turning to the crowd that followed him, said, I tell you, Not even in Israel have I found such faith. And when those who had been sent returned to the house, they found the servant well. That is amazing. And it's only one of two times that Jesus was ever amazed. The other time was in his own hometown, Nazareth. And he was amazed for opposite reasons. The people of Nazareth did not have faith in Jesus, yet an outsider does. Is Jesus impressed with you? Depends on your faith. Are you the kind of person who, like the centurion, says, look, I get it. You are Lord of your area, and if you will just speak the word, it will be done. Are you the kind of person, like this centurion, who said, I don't want to do anything that would put you in an uncomfortable position? He knew that if Jesus went into a Gentile's home, he would pay the price. So he wants what Jesus has to offer without being a burden or a bother to Jesus. It's really impressive that someone from the outside can see more clearly the power and the dignity of Jesus than many of those on the inside. So let me ask you again. Is Jesus impressed with you? If the answer is yes, it's not from your ability, it's not from your status, it's from your faith.